If you want some FIFA 23 coins, please check out MMOXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're fast, cheap and reliable, and if you use code Rema you can get yourself a 5% discount. So what's up guys, my name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video guys, I've got some 4222 custom tactics and player instructions for after the new patch in FIFA 23. Just before we get started though guys, I'd very much appreciate it if you guys could drop this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one. And with all that aside guys, let's get right into today's video. Okay guys, so for custom tactics on the defensive style, as always I like to have balance because I like to press when I want to press and drop back when I want to drop back, so I can do a bit of everything with balance. Some people like pressure tactics. I'm not a big fan of them in this game because I think they're a little bit broken. For width I have this on 42 because I like to defend in a narrow shape because a lot of people like to play through the middle in FIFA 23, but it also has that natural amount of width where you can cover the wings if somebody does play the ball down the wing, so that's why we have that on 42. Now for depth I have this on 48 because through balls and that are still crazy after the patch, so it's important you have a deeper defensive line to prevent people just playing one through ball in behind you all the time. It's not ideal, but if you want to win games it's unfortunate, it's just how it is. If you still want to up your depth, that is completely up to you, but I suggest having this on about 48 because it's a nice deeper line, but again it's still not that deep either. But for offensive tactics guys, on build-up play I like to have this on balance. Some people like fast build-up, but in this formation I think it can be a little bit too quick, so having it on balanced allows you to play quickly when you want to and take it a bit slower when you want to as well. Sometimes with fast build-up in this formation your players like run out of shape of the formation and it's hard to link up the play. That's why we use balance in this formation specifically. Now for chance creation, as always direct passing is the best because if you look at the diagram bottom right hand corner of this screen, it's the only one which makes your attackers move in the correct way. It's the only one which will give them dynamic movement. If you look at something like balance, they're very static, they don't move around enough, so it can be difficult to create chances. And if you look at something like possession, they do move around, just not into the correct areas to create those chances. So direct passing again is probably the best option in this game. Now for attacking width I have this on 45 because although the 4222 is a narrow formation, I've noticed it can be pretty decent when you use it with a bit more width, especially after the patch, because running down the wing and that is very overpowered in this game after the update. So having that width a little bit higher is pretty good after the patch, I won't lie. Having this on about 45, it keeps it narrow but it's a little bit wider than normal, so I do quite like that. Now for players in box, this one is down to preference. I have this on about 6 or 7. I'm using 7 at the moment because I do like to commit a lot of men into the box, but again I don't like to be completely vulnerable to counter attacks all the time, so having it on 7 allows me to get a lot of people into the box, but it also prevents those counter attacks. Now corners and free kicks are also down to preference. I just have this on 2 because again I like to cross the ball into the box from set pieces sometimes, and it's important that I have some players there, but I don't want so many in the box that when we lose out we get counter attacks. So yeah, they're the custom tactics. Let's move on to the players you want to use. So for the players you want to use in this formation guys, in the striker position you can pretty much use whoever you want. I do suggest strikers with like a high medium work rate, a high low work rate, or even a medium low work rate. You need a decent work rate in the striker position, I've noticed. But as for your actual strikers, I don't really think it matters too much because it's pretty much down to preference. I'm using Keane and Leao. Leao's a bit more of like a runner, Keane's a bit more of a technical player, so I do like that balance in the striker position. For your two cams you want some more technical players, players that are good on the ball, players that can pass, players that can shoot, basically players that can do a bit of everything. And if you can, it's good to have these cams with a high work rate. Foden has a high work rate, but Chiesa has a high medium. It's not like super necessary, but it can really help you when you are defending. Now for your two CDMs, it's important to have one CDM which is a more defensive CDM. So I've got Patrick Vieira, and the preferable work rate for that player is like a medium high, but if it's like a medium medium and the player's got really good stats, that's also fine because it like compromises. But yeah, making sure you have a good defensive CDM is important. And the other one needs to be like more of a box-to-box style player, players that can attack, defend, and this player should have a high work rate because again, they're going to be attacking and they're going to be defending. So just make sure you're going for like a well-rounded player with a high work rate. If you need somebody cheap, Renato Sanchez does the job, trust me. Now for your left back, I go for somebody more attacking, so I've got Theo Hernandez. This is because I use my left back to commit to the attack, so it's important that they've got decent stats to help me out in the attack, otherwise they're pretty much useless and they should stay back. Now for my right back, I actually have a player which is more defensive and more solid at the back because we need to have that balance in the defensive line. You're going to see how this works with my player instructions, but having that balance is important. Your two centre backs need to be as meta as possible. I'm just using Varane and Van Dijk, and the only reason I'm using Chesney in goal is because of chemistry to Chiesa. But now we've talked about the players you want to use, let's move on to the player instructions. So for the player instructions, guys, on both strikers, I suggest stay central and get in behind. This is because you don't need them drifting off to the wings because you've got wider cams for that. So you do want them to stay into those central positions. Getting behind just means they make those better attacking runs. Sometimes if you have them on mixed attack, they don't make enough runs. It doesn't mean you always have to play the ball in behind. It just gets the best movement out of your strikers. And let's say you do want to call one of these players short, you can just tap the right bumper to do so. Now for your left cam, I suggest get into the box for cross. This isn't because I like to cross the ball all the time, it just means they will transition into the box when you need them to. So let's say we're attacking and we're getting into the penalty area. Let's say I'm attacking down the wing with Chiesa. Foden will run into the box. It doesn't mean I have to cross to him, it just means he's there for the option if we do need it. Now for my right cam, I like to have a bit more freedom with this player, so I have get into the box for cross and free roam. The reason for this is because the formation can be a little bit predictable at times, so having one player on free roam actually really helps because it gives you a bit more creativity. It makes the formation a little bit more unpredictable, and again we have get into the box for cross because we do want them to transition into the box with those runs. But yeah, free roam's pretty much down to preference. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but I think it's cool to have one player with a bit more freedom in the formation. Now for your right CDM, the one which is a more box to box player, I suggest balanced attack and cover center. Basically the only setting you need to change is cover center. The reason for this is because we do need him to cover the middle of the pitch. We don't need him covering the wings because we've already got two players on each side to do that. So it's important this player covers the centre because a lot of people like to play through the middle, so it's important they're there to break up the play. Balanced attack's good because, like I said, this is a more box-to-box player. We need him to attack and defend because it helps us transition from midfield to attack. If you have him on stay back while attacking, it can be difficult to transition from midfield all the way up to your attack, and this is why the high work rate is important as well, because if you have like a high medium player in this position, they'll be very good at attacking, but when it comes to tracking back, they won't do the best job. So high work rate, balanced attack is very good. For your left CDM, the more defensive one, cover center, stay back while attacking. The reason for this is like similar to Park Ji-sung. We need him to cover the center because we've already got players to cover the wing. We need him to cover those central areas, and stay back while attacking is important because again, we don't need this player to attack. We want him to defend, so just have him on stay back while attacking, and it works very well. You have a nice balance in the midfield there. Now for your more attacking fullback, mine's Theo Hernandez in the left back position. I just leave him alone because I don't like to limit what he can do. I like him to attack sometimes, I like him to not attack sometimes, I like him to overlap sometimes, underlap sometimes, so it's important I have that balance with that player, so I basically just leave him alone to get the most freedom out of this player. Now for my more defensive right back, this being Kyle Walker, I have him on stay back while attacking. This is so we always have three players back when we are defending, and Vieira, and then we've also got Park Ji-sung with his high work rate, so it does give you nice defensive support. If I do want to attack with Walker, I can always just trigger a run with him with L1, but I like always having like three players back just because it adds extra support when you are defending, otherwise people can just rip you to shreds. But yeah, they are my custom tactics and player instructions for the 4-2-2-2. If you guys have enjoyed this video or found it useful, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you all later. Peace.